The urn was still warm from the crematorium when I saw it. My name, scratched out in red ink on the family will. Gone. Disinherited. At my own mother-in-law's funeral. The same woman who once said, "You're the son I never had." The church hall in San Marcos, Texas, had turned into a war zone of whispers. My wife, Camille, wore black like it was tailored for war. Her brother, Rhett, avoided my eyes as they handed out glossy memorial programs. My daughters clung to Camille's side like bodyguards. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. After the final hymn, Camille pulled me aside behind the church. "You don't need to come to the house," she said, voice like frost. "There's a moving truck waiting." I blinked. "Come again." "It's over, Zach." I filed. "You've got 24 hours to leave the property, and you won't be seeing Gracie and Harper until the courts say so." A crow cawed in the distance, like even nature was in on it. "You're serious?" I muttered, heart trying to punch through my chest. "We were just in counseling." "Camille, what you doing?" She smiled with the slow cruelty of a rattlesnake ready to strike. "Counseling was your idea. I was just buying time." That's when I noticed the Rolex on her wrist, platinum, not gold. The same one I saw in the security catalog 6 months ago. The one she said was too extravagant. "You're not doing this for the kids," I said. "You're doing this because you think I won't fight back." Her eyes flicked behind me. A man stepped out from the shadows of the trees. Tall, built like a linebacker. Tattoos, and wearing a sheriff's badge. "Deputy McAllen's just here to make sure everything goes smoothly," Camille said sweetly. A literal armed escort. At my wife's request. I was done playing nice. Like this so far? Drop a comment with where you're watching from. I've got a feeling this next part's gonna blow your mind. Camille and I build our lives from the ground up, or so I thought. She was always the polished one, from the wealthy McKenna family that owned half of San Marcos real estate. I was the outsider, the kid from nothing who joined the Air Force just to eat 3 meals a day. After serving 12 years flying surveillance drones, I came home and started Texavolt Electric, a modest contracting company. Camille joined as CFO. We were unstoppable, at least on paper. But now, my garage was packed with boxes labeled Zach's crap. Camille had left my military medals and tools, but not the photo albums. Not even the baby shoes we framed after Gracie's first steps. She took the memories and left the medal. Even worse, Rhett, her brother and business partner, froze my company access. Said there were concerns about unauthorized drone purchases. I laughed. "You mean the drones I use to inspect wind turbines for your renewable contracts?" He shrugged. "Your expense reports raise flags. Legal says you're out." Camille agrees. Camille, the woman who once held my hand during PTSD nightmares, now held a lawyer's hand in court. But their biggest mistake? They forgot who they were dealing with. My call sign wasn't Zach. In the military, they called me Shadow 6. Because I was the ghost people didn't see coming. And I was done being quiet. Connie's apartment was one step above a storage unit. Tiny, cramped, and stacked with potted succulents that refused to die. My sister had lived modestly since her divorce, but she kept her books tighter than a federal audit. She poured me a mug of black coffee like it was a weapon. "So, your wife kicked you out at her mother's funeral, blindsided you with divorce papers, froze you out of your own company, and is using your military background to argue for supervised visitation with the girls?" she asked. I nodded. "She also has a Rolex and a new Tesla." Connie raised one eyebrow. "A Tesla? But last month, she complained about your drone budget." That's what I said. We both stared at the invoice I'd printed, the one Camille flagged as suspicious. It was for $12,000, a thermal drone used to detect faulty power lines. I'd used it on city contracts all year. "Zach, this isn't about money. This is a hostile takeover." That's when Connie found the first red flag. "This vendor," she said, tapping the invoice, "Jaxco Tools? They're listed on your payment logs." But I checked. Jaxco's address belongs to a UPS mailbox in Round Rock. She opened a second browser tab. "The business is registered to a C. McKenna." That's Camille. My blood turned to ice. She'd created a fake vendor to siphon money. "This one too," Connie said, clicking on another suspicious name, Titan Rentals. It linked back to Rhett's LLC. They were laundering company funds through fake suppliers. Rhett and Camille weren't just divorcing me. They were erasing me. Financially, legally, personally. I hope they've enjoyed the money, I said slowly, because they're about to pay for every single dollar. I waited until midnight before driving to the Texavolt warehouse. Camille didn't know I'd hardwired a shadow server into the backup generator room, a surveillance system I installed during the break-ins last year. They'd never found it. I pulled up the footage. 3 nights ago, Rhett had entered the warehouse through the back door, using my old keycard. He wasn't stealing. He was burning, shredding financial reports, smashing hard drives, dumping files into contractor-grade garbage bags. Obstruction, evidence tampering, intent to defraud. Every second was recorded on 2 different cameras. I smiled. Let the countdown begin. I didn't go to the police. Not yet. That would be too easy, too clean. Camille and Rhett had spent months orchestrating my ruin. If I struck too soon, they'd crawl away with plea deals, maybe even avoid jail time. But if I let them burn themselves alive in front of the entire town, that would last forever. So I leaked the first rumor through the oldest, most effective network in Texas, contractor gossip. Over lunch at a barbecue joint, I told Jose, a subcontractor who worked with Rhett on the city's solar project. Funny thing. Texavolt's account was short $200,000. Then I saw a Tesla in Camille's driveway. Probably a coincidence. The next morning, my phone lit up. Zach, people are asking questions, Rhett snarled. You trying to tank the company? Tank what? I was told I don't work there anymore. Click. Later that night, I posted an anonymous message on the San Marcos business forum. Any other vendors noticed delayed payments from Texavolt? Asking for a friend. Tool broke 73 inch. It spread like wildfire. Electricians, plumbers, city clerks. By the end of the week, Camille's office was fielding furious calls about unpaid invoices and missing funds. The dominoes were falling. But I wasn't done yet. With Connie's help, I built a financial timeline that linked every fake vendor to Rhett or Camille. We traced $312,000 funneled through 5 shell companies, used to buy luxury items, pay for lawyers, and make international transfers. Then we found the Cayman's account, registered to CM Holdings International. Camille Margaret McKenna, Connie muttered. Arrogant, which used her initials. We hacked nothing. All public domain and recovered internal documents, but enough to bury them both. So I sent Rhett a meeting request. Let's talk. Just us. No lawyers. The back booth of Murphy's Tavern smelled like stale beer and betrayal. You've made your point, Rhett said. You want her job back. I slid a folder across the table. He opened it. Read it. Blanched. These are. How the hell did you get these? Oh, these. I sipped my beer. That's nothing. Wait until you see what I'm presenting at the Chamber of Commerce banquet next month. You wouldn't dare. I leaned in. I would. I got videos, timelines, offshore transfers. And Rhett, I was a drone operator in the military. You really think I didn't record our company's security footage? Rhett looked like he'd swallow glass. Here's my offer, I said calmly. Full restitution. Every stolen dollar, plus 10% in damages. Camille signs over her shares of Texavolt to me for $1. You both resign. Permanently. And if we don't, I smiled. Then we go nuclear. I've already filed a preliminary complaint with the IRS. The FBI's white-collar division is next. They thought they'd won. Now, they were bargaining for survival. But the best was still to come. 3 weeks later, the San Marcos Chamber of Commerce banquet became the most unforgettable night in town history. Every business owner, politician, and city contractor packed into the gilded ballroom of the Pecan Valley Hotel, expecting awards and free booze. Instead, they got blood. I waited until dessert. Then I walked to the podium, opened my briefcase, and unfolded a crisp copy of a single email. To Rhett McKenna from Camille McKenna subject. Vendor funds. Once Zach's out, transfer the last batch through Titan Holdings. We'll say it was a bulk order. Then freeze his access and claim PTSD made him unstable. The room fell silent. Gasps. Whispers. A fork clattered to the ground. Behind me, on a large screen, I queued up drone footage. Rhett sneaking into our warehouse at 3 a.m., loading shredded documents into trash bags. Then I hit play on the audio from the warehouse security system. I was just following Camille's plan, Rhett's voice echoed. She told me to wipe everything before the court hearing. I turned to face the crowd. My name is Zach Redford. I built Texavolt from nothing. And the people who try to steal it, destroy it, and ruin my life are sitting right there. I pointed to Camille and Rhett, stone-faced, sweating, exposed. Over $300,000 stolen, hidden in shell companies. And for what? A Tesla? A Rolex? Revenge. Someone in the audience yelled, "Get out of town." Another, "You stole from veterans." The mayor himself stood up. We'll be launching a full audit of every municipal contract Texavolt was awarded under their management. Camille stood up, red-faced. This is illegal. That footage, I cut her off. Texas is a one-party consent state, Camille. I gave myself permission. Laughter. Applause. Red tried to slip out. Deputies stopped him. The sheriff, ironically, the same one who once escorted me off my property, now walked them out in handcuffs. In court, Camille tried to fight for custody. The judge took one look at the financial records, the offshore accounts, the criminal charges, and granted me full custody of Gracie and Harper. Camille was given supervised visits, twice a month, at a public facility. Today, Texavolt is thriving. We expanded into 3 new cities. Connie runs finance. Nate became VP of Field Ops. Every employee who stayed loyal got a raise and equity. As for Camille and Rhett, they were indicted for conspiracy to commit fraud, wire fraud, tax evasion, and obstruction of justice. Rhett took a plea. Camille tried to fight. She lost. She's serving a 3-year sentence in a minimum security prison outside Fort Worth. The last time I saw her, it was through bulletproof glass. She looked tired, smaller, like someone whose armor cracked and never healed. "You destroyed me," she said. "No, Evavia. You did. I just made sure everyone saw it." As I left, the guard asked if I wanted to leave a message. I thought for a moment, then handed him a sticky note that said, "Shadow 6 never forgets." And I walked out into the Texas sun, my daughters waiting in the truck, laughing over milkshakes. They were home, and so was I.